Hey guys, excuse me, Bryce Tubbs here. Today let's talk about a freelance bookkeeper tip, okay? So how to clone clients. So this video is gonna be really great even if you don't have existing clients, okay? So number one is you have to make sure that you are shooting for clients of the right size. So a lot of people when they're getting started, they go after like businesses who are like startups. And in their first like 1 to 2 years, like that's generally who is the easiest to come by, right? Because they're the ones that are reaching out to you. Those are the ones that feel like they have the need. Those are the ones who your friends and family are generally sending to you. And then when you speak, or maybe you're on like Upwork and you're trying to like go and get proposals out, and those are the ones that come to you, right? And it's really hard for you to charge those individual businesses like, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, because in a lot of cases they just don't have it unless they're, like in a higher growth kind of industry like nonprofit or constructions or like roofers when there's just a natural disaster that has just occurred, right? So you have to start really first identifying like who is the person you want to deal with. Some people like to think about like niching down, like they only want to work with a specific industry, right? I don't necessarily agree that you have to go and work on a specific industry. I more like to have between 3 to 5 different industries that I decide to target, and then from within those, like if you get referrals from outside those industries, it's still good to be able to take those on as long as they're kind of ready to meet the criteria. Now, from the topic of the video, it was all about cloning clients, okay? Number one, if you have a client that you really like working with, even if they're not quite at the size that of payment that you want, maybe they're like $500 a month, maybe $750, maybe $1,000 a month, then the number one easiest way for you to get more is to be able to start utilizing their existing network, their audience, their Facebook profile to start going and growing your brand and getting more clients, right? Because there's always this phrase, I don't know if you've heard this when you were younger, at least when I was younger, my grandma used to say, birds of a feather flock together, right? So oftentimes the thing that causes you to be able to get a higher price per month for your service is not necessarily just the size of the business. That is a really big indicator. Next, it's the complexity of the work. And then thirdly, the relationship you have with the individual. Now, the reason why I'm even talking about cloning clients is because if you like the clients who you have, chances are their friends are going to be very similar to them. So you already know there's a personality fit. Now, your job would be to go through like their Instagram, their Facebook, their LinkedIn, and basically stalk your clients. So look at all their friends and say, okay, which one of their friends actually owns a business? And then from there, start the conversation with them. An easy way you can do to like bridge this gap and start the conversation is, hey, I see that you know client name. How do you know them? And that's when you send the friend request. So that's your first message if you're on like Facebook or Instagram. And then generally the person will be like, oh, I know Suzanne because of blah, 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 blah thing, right? How do you know Suzanne? When they ask you how do you know it, you can subtly drop the hint that, oh yeah, I'm actually an accountant / bookkeeper or virtual CFO. I'm not sitting right in front of you, so I don't know exactly what service you offer, but you want to tell them that that's how you go. Now, one cool thing to note is if you have a good client and you actually like the client, make sure you ask the client and your clients if you can use them as references, right? So that if you ever want to do marketing, that they'll allow you to use their name. Once you have that, now you can just go ham on all their friends. Now, the people who this works extremely well for are the people who have maybe about 3 to 5 clients already. If you have one client, then yeah, it can be very effective as well. I'm just saying it'll be more effective the more clients you have. For example, one of my students, his name is Mike. So when he first got started, he had about 5 clients, right? And from those 5 clients, 1, 2, and 3 of those clients have each provided about 1 to 2 new clients. So he effectively almost doubled his client count just from 3 people, right? And that's not to count all the conversations he's having now that are going to lead to a sales call or a consultation in the next like week or week and a half. And it's just a really easy way for you to go and grow really quickly, but it's something that a lot of people don't utilize. I know I didn't use that for a long time because I didn't know about it. I didn't even think about it when I was first getting started. Like when I was starting, I was like, I would get a client, but then I would try and go and like find the next person. And it kind of, for me, it stemmed from a little bit of like insecurity, because I was like, I don't know if I'm doing an amazing job for this client. I don't know if this client like values my service enough to go tell his friends. And in a lot of cases, like if you have a client, like they probably won't tell their friends about you. In some cases they will, because they'll brag about you. But in a lot of cases, like they'll have people inside their network, especially if they're well connected and they do a lot of like networking events, who are looking for your service, but they just won't even think to ask, or they won't have it in conversation. So if you first ask to use them as a reference and then you start going through the audience, it's almost like a pseudo referral. You're basically just, they're basically growing your friends list, and they're growing your network by default, because you can always just like utilize their name. And it's a really cool kind of trick, especially for like if you have a client where the client is more of like a connector personality. For example, back to actually I can talk about JT. So with JT, he has one referral partner that's given him about $50,000 per year in monthly recurring revenue. So last year gave him about 50. This year will probably give him another 50. So he'll be at about 100,000 that one person basically referred to him. And the way that he was able to do that was, she has a Facebook group of like people inside of his target market that she owns and manages. And there was two things that had happened. So first thing, they were referral partners and they became friends. And then he started doing her accounting, right? And then from there, he was able to start making posts inside of her Facebook group saying, hey, I just did her accounting. I just did this thing, maybe who else is looking for this? And then the people just started like coming on that post, right? And it was just like, okay, now go check her friend list. Who else on that friends list owns like a business? And for her, she had about her group had about 7,000 people who were interested in either starting the business or who were already in the field. And then from there, she even had a LinkedIn and a Facebook. And it's just like, he has probably about 20,000 people in his target market who all own a business of some size and some sort that he can just keep going to, and then utilizing her name to really grow really quickly. And it's really amazing. It's really cool to kind of see that happen. And I want that for you too. It doesn't have to take you a lot of effort as well. It's just like you learning how to go make friends, and you really just being diligent about it. Right? If you can go and put it on like another spreadsheet of all the different the person's like Facebook account, Instagram account, or their LinkedIn account, and just scrape the list. All scraping means is that like you go and highlight every single one of their friends, or you get some sort of automated tool online that can do it for you, and then it just uploads all of it to like a Google spreadsheet. So you just have this list of names, and your job is just like to go on a weekend, just like look through the profiles. Do you want a business? Cross you off. You don't. Do you? And it just makes it really easy for you to be able to go down a list of that size. Of course, if your client has a smaller list of friends in their network, you won't need to do that. But in JT's case, when the person had 12,000 people we had to go look through, it made sense to use a spreadsheet. Now, if you want some help going and growing your business, maybe you've been trying to do it yourself, maybe you have a couple clients, maybe you don't have a client, I don't know, I'm not in front of you, but you want to go and reach your goal in a shorter time period, go ahead and click on the link inside the description below to book a call with me. On that call, all we do is we're like, hey, where are you right now? I know you might think this is your problem, but this is really what the problem is. I mean, I've been doing this for 7 years, and we have about 100 students inside of the Six Figure Firms mentorship program. And based on our experience, this is generally what's wrong. Next, we're gonna be like, okay, so where do you want to go, and what does your day, what does your life, what does your year look like once you're there? Do you want to have more time to spend with your family? Are you a person that likes going on vacations? Are you a person that just wants to have financial stability so you don't have to worry about it? Whatever your real goal is, let's go and see what it is first, and then we can make a plan for you to go and actually achieve that without you having to really make a lot of mistakes that most people make. The only thing that's going to really stop you from your goal, it's not a level of success. It's more about how many failures and distractions do you really come against in a given year that prevent you from either making it work or making it not work. And the more that we can either limit that, or the more that we can just reduce all the negative things that you don't even have to deal with, that's why people grow and hit their goals so fast whenever they work with me. So if that's something that you think would have some value to you, and you think that this will be something that you want, go ahead and click on the link inside the description, either above or below the video. It'll take you to my calendar. You can book a call with me. We're going to look at this together and see if we can help you grow your business. And if it makes sense, you can even work with me inside of the Six Figure Firms mentorship program. If you're ready for that, I'll talk to you soon. If you're not ready for that, do it anyway. And if I don't see you on the call, at least I'll see you inside the next video and see if I can add some more value to you. Talk soon. See you later.